fellow readers and writers. Today we're going to talk about prefixes, how prefixes affect words, and how you can decode unknown words with prefixes. We're going to review the prefixes now. Remember, a prefix is an order of letters in front of a word that has a meaning of its own. So if you see dis, this is not a word, it's a prefix. D-I-S, dis, it means not. And we know that that's a closed syllable with the vowel making its short sound because there's a consonant after it to close the door. The next prefix is un, it means not. It is also a closed syllable so that u is making its short sound. In, this prefix also means not, and it is also a closed syllable prefix. And re, which means again or back. This syllable is open because the E is long and making that long sound. There's no other letter on the other side of it to close the door to make it say a short sound. Let's take a look at some words. We have the word like. I have code divided and labeled the word. Remember, if you see an E as the last letter, you can assume that that's going to make the vowel long, so you can cross the E, jump the consonant, mark it with a macron, and label it with an E syllable. The next word is well. That E is making its short sound because there is a consonant after it, so we can label that as a closed syllable word. The next word is correct. I have found and marked my vowels, made the consonants, or found the consonants between the vowels, and then I found a pattern I recognize. It's that VCCV pattern, and I know I always divide in between those two consonants. So now I can decode the word. First one is or. It is an R-controlled vowel. The O is not saying ah or O, it's saying or. So I can mark this syllable as an R-controlled syllable. And then the next syllable is rect. And CT is a consonant blend saying kt. And then the E is short because it's closed by that consonant blend. Rect. I can go back and decode it. Correct. Correct. The next word we have is unite. Now this word can be a little tricky because we have a vowel, consonant, vowel pattern, and those are our slider words. If we had divided this syllable on the side of the N, between the N and the I, instead of between the U and the N, it would have said unite, but that doesn't make sense. So some of those you have to just try yourself. This one is unite, so I know I divide between the U and the N. I mark it long with a macron. It's an open syllable, so I labeled it with an O. And then we have an E-controlled syllable over here, where we have a vowel consonant E pattern, cross out the E, mark the I long, and mark it as an E syllable, unite. Now let's take a look at some words that have those prefixes from before. We talked about the prefix dis. We talked about the word like. And now imagine you come across a word that says dislike, but you weren't sure how to pronounce it. If you know that you have seen a prefix that you've learned before, you can make a bracket around that prefix, and that's going to be a syllable of its own. So first it says dis, and you can think, I know that dis means not, so whatever else the word says, it's going to be not of that. So dislike would mean to not like. We talked about the prefix un and the word well. And we came across a word that says unwell. So I can see that it's starting with a prefix that I recognize as un, which means not also. So I can make a bracket around it. That's going to be a syllable of its own. And then I can look at the rest of the word. Unwell would mean to not be well. We talked about the prefix in, which also means not. We talked about the word correct. So then we could have incorrect. Sometimes a long word like this can look really intimidating on a page, but if we know our prefix, we can start to decode it. You can make a bracket around that prefix that you recognize. So you know that it has the prefix in, which means not. And then you can code, divide, and label the rest of the word. Find and mark your vowels, divide between your syllables, decide the sounds that the vowels are going to say, dependent on if they have a consonant behind them, or if it's open, to make this long sound. So we can say in, cor, it has an R, so it's an R-controlled vowel, rect, incorrect, incorrect, which means to not be correct. We talked about the prefix re, which meant again or back. Remember, this is an open syllable prefix, so the E is free to say its full long name, re. Talked about the word unite. It was a slider word because we had a vowel consonant vowel pattern, so we had to try it both ways. It could be unite or unite, and since unite is a word that we know that's the correct way to say it. But if you had a prefix in front of it, it can say reunite. So if I'm reading this word, I'm going to put a bracket around my prefix so I can decode it. I'm going to find and mark my vowels and use the rest of my patterns to decode the rest of the word. Reunite. I know it's a 3-syllable word. Reunite. Unite would be to join. Re is again, so reunite would be to join again.